Good afternoon. My name is Cor Wittekoek and I'm the Manager Director of Vlakglasrecycling Nederland. Translated in English, it's Vlakglasrecycling Holland. And I'm also Secretary General of Bouwend Nederland, the glass division, and that's the association of constructing companies in the Netherlands. And in this, I represent both the producers and installers of flat glass and the recycling system. I would like to tell you about the status of the recycling of flat glass waste and what we have to do to make flat glass more circular. A lot has been done already, but we can always improve. What's the current situation of flat glass recycling? First, what is flat glass? Although bottles are also made from glass, we only deal with flat glass. And flat glass is in fact every type of glass that is not curved like bottles. You can find flat glass everywhere inside and outside the building, like double glazing, interior glazing, mirrors, shower doors, glass from picture frames, and so on. So every type of glass that is not bent or curved, that's called flat glass. Glass is made from sand, and to melt sand, you need a temperature of about 1700 degrees Celsius. And if you add cullet, that's recycled glass, to the raw materials, you can lower the temperature to 1500 degrees Celsius. So 10% cullet saves roughly 2 till 3% energy consumption. And less energy means less emission of CO2. So every 10% of cullet saves about 2% CO2 emission. When you use cullet, you also save raw material. And the main raw material, as said, is sand. So when you do not have to dig the sand, you will spare the environment. And last but not least, glass can endlessly be recycled with no loss of weight. So you can melt it over and over again and you will have the same quantity. And I don't speak about the quality, only the quantity. The potential in Europe. In 2016, Deloitte performed a Dutch European study to the potential volume of flat glass waste in Europe. And they calculated by the renovation of building, almost 1.3 million ton of flat glass waste will arise. And they also calculated the demolition site, and it is about 260,000 ton of flat glass waste. So in total, more than 1.5 million ton of flat glass waste. So there's a big potential for raw material to produce new glass. There are different types of glass industry that can use the recycled glass, so the cullets. For example, glass wool. Again, glass wool can use up to 80% cullet for the production of new glass wool. And the packaging industry, like bottles and jars, they can use up to 90% cullet. But they prefer to use the cullet of flat glass more than cullet from packaging glass. And that is due that there is almost zero absence of lead in flat glass cullet. In cullet from packaging glass, you will always find a percentage of lead, but that's not the case in flat glass. The flat glass industry can take 25 till 37% of cullets, but this is not due to technical limits, but due to the available quantities and the very high quality that is needed to produce new flat glass. I will tell you later more about the specific quality demands. And other glass industries are glass beads and the white stripes on the roads, so that when it's dark, your lights will reflect on the roads, so that you can see how the road goes. But when cullet is used for those two applicants, like glass beads and in the roads, then the cullet cannot be used afterwards for a second time. So then the raw material is lost. And what are the limitations of the flat glass furnaces? As already said, the different types of glass industries have great opportunities for the use of cullet because it's raw material for them. The current rate of use of cullet in the flat glass industry is about 26%. according to figures from Glass for Europe. And based on the available quantities of cullet, and quantity also the available quality, the flat glass furnaces might reach 37% as a part of a batch of raw material. So cullet always have to be mixed in the batch together with sand and some other materials. And to give you an explanation of the problems of the availability, if you look in Holland, every year we have to build 70,000 new houses. And when you build a new house, you don't have any flat glass waste. So the net put on market is always more than what you take out of the markets. The current reuse of cullet for packaging glass is about 80 till 85%. And reusable packaging glass has a lifetime of 7 till 14 years. Double glazing has a lifetime of 25 to 30 years. And like flat glass, packaging glass can also be endlessly recycled. And also glass wool can a lot of use of cullets. They also use the cullet from packaging glass and also from flat glass. But as I said, the recycling of the end-of-life glass wool is not possible in big quantities yet. So, in our opinion, if you look at the availability of flat glass cullets, we say that when you use flat glass to produce glass wool, after 50 or 60 years, our raw material is lost. Now about the quality demands of the glass industry. Now, I said before, the quality demands of the flat glass industry are very high. Only good and clean cullet are suitable for the production of new flat glass. And you can imagine, if you look through your window, you want to have a clear view. You don't want to see any stripes or holes in the glass. And you see, we distinguish two types of waste glass: industrial, that's coming from factories, and a lot of that is already used in for the production of flat glass. Another source is domestic, post-consumer glass, also from the emission sites, and that's only only a little part is used for the production of new flat glass. This is an example of glass that's coming from renovation sites. And you see double glazing, you see glass from shower doors. It's polluted with different materials. These materials were attached to the glass to give it a certain functionality. Also a lot of PVB foil from the laminated glass that's stuck to the glass. And that means that you have to treat this glass very well to make it suitable for reuse. And this cullet cannot be used for the production of new flat glass yet, but you still can use it for the production of packaging glass, mainly the green bottles or glass wool. The main killing or the real killing problem for the production of glass, and that's for all types of glass, is the CSP. That's ceramic, stone or porcelain. Although it's also made from sand, the melting temperature of CSP is much higher than the glass cullets. Even 5 grams of CSP per 1 ton cullet is too much. And this results in unmelted pieces in the glass. Now, these are some examples from how pollution with CSP can come. The first picture is from glass waste from municipal sites. You can see glass from a stove. That's ceramic glass. It's not allowed in the glass container. You have to put it at the e-waste. The second picture is a stone in a container, and that sometimes we see that from renovation sites, and also we cannot use this type of loads. And the third picture is this porcelain from tableware. And that's also lots in the containers at the municipal waste sites. This is an example of very clean glass cullets, and that comes from a production site. And that's very good, usable for the production of new flat glass. And to show you what can happen when the CSP is not properly removed from the cullets, you can see it's like a stone that's fixed in the glass of the bottle. And when these bottles are filled, they might easily explode. Example, when you put a warm stuff in this bottle, the bottle will explode. And this means that the entire batch of ready-made bottles have to be destroyed. So you can imagine that is very costly. So that's the reason why the quality demands from all type of glass industries are very high. Now, I would like to show you how we have in Holland implemented an EPR system. And first I would want to show you the movie, and later I will give you an explanation of what we are doing.
This is Rick and Jennifer, and this is their new home. Well, not exactly new. Rick and Jennifer first have to get rid of some old stuff. But what are you supposed to do with it? Throw it into the general waste container? Surely not. Every time we just throw something out, we are throwing away a piece of our planet. After all, to make nice stuff like this, we first have to get all kinds of raw materials out of the ground. But stuff like this suffers from wear and tear. Either that or it breaks. When that happens, we want new stuff, made from new raw materials. Fortunately, we now realise that we can't go on like this, as we will literally exhaust the Earth's resources. We are reusing and recycling an ever wider range of raw materials. Things such as scrap metal or plastic waste. Then there's paper, more than 3/4 of which is recycled in the Netherlands. We are also making increasing use of bottle banks. And yet, we can still do a lot better when it comes to glass waste. This is certainly true of sheet glass waste. No, Jennifer, sheet glass is mostly flat, and it's everywhere. It's not something you usually think about until it goes wrong. Sheet glass shields our house against the wind, the rain and the cold. Yet sheet glass has still more uses, in furniture for example, or spectacles, or shower enclosures, to say nothing of mirrors. Did you know that the average family has 7 mirrors around the house? That means there are more than 50 million mirrors in the Netherlands. You find even more sheet glass outdoors. It comes in a variety of sizes, colours, shapes, applications and quantities. This glass ranges from the crudest blocks to the finest grit. One type of glass lets in the light. Another acts as a shield. Glass can be a utensil or a decorative object. Either way, a glassless world would be a lot duller and especially darker. Incidentally, even a world with glass would look a lot bleaker if waste glass recycling was not so fantastically effective. Glass is, in fact, the only product that is truly 100% reusable. This is because there is no loss of quality, time after time, forever. Since 2002, the collection and transport of sheet glass waste has been the responsibility of Vlakglasrecycling Nederland. This foundation maintains a nationwide network of some 350 collection points throughout the country, where private individuals and glass processing companies can hand in their old sheet glass. This is usually free of charge, as sheet glass recycling is largely funded by the disposal fee paid by glass manufacturers and importers. There are fixed collection points at environmental recycling centres or float glass companies, for example. However, the Vlakglasrecycling Nederland Foundation also coordinates the delivery and collection of rental containers at temporary construction sites and renovation project sites, for example. The residential and utilities construction sectors in particular generate huge amounts of waste sheet glass every year. The collection and recycling of sheet glass is a very successful operation. Vlakglasrecycling Nederland processes between 80,000 and 90,000 tonnes of waste sheet glass each year. That's equivalent to about 7,300 large containers. The trick is to ensure that any glass you hand in is as clean as possible. This is because you can only make clean new glass from clean old glass. Vlakglasrecycling Nederland offers relevant advice and even training courses, as, sadly, no two types of glass are the same. Also, even clean is a rather flexible concept. Because, dear Jennifer, that oven dish, for example, is not suitable for recycling. No more than ceramics. This is because heat-resistant glass, as the name suggests, is very difficult to melt. If that is mixed with cullet of ordinary glass in the furnace, any unmelted fragments will create weak points in the new glass. Conversely, many people dispose of old mirrors and window panes, for example, in the general waste, because they think that frames, plastic film or pieces of putty will make the glass unusable. Yet it is still easier to remove general waste from waste sheet glass than to remove waste sheet glass from general waste. So yes, even the aluminium strips in double glazing units can go into the sheet glass container, as can laminated glass or wired glass. So what happens to all those containers full of usable cullet? First, they go to specialised glass processing companies. Some is transported by road, but much goes by ship, as this saves about 400,000 asphalt kilometres per year. So that is a significant saving in CO2 emissions. The recycling companies make thorough checks to determine the quality of the waste sheet glass. The last remaining foreign materials are removed. The rest is broken up and milled into small pieces. Raw material, the stuff of new glass products. Glass made from old cullet has the same properties as glass made from the basic elements of sand, lime, soda and magnesium. So we can leave these raw materials in the ground. Indeed, melting recycled glass cullet into new glass is even more efficient than using raw materials, because 1 kilogram of cullet yields as much glass as would normally be obtained from 1.2 kilograms of raw materials. In addition, remelting old glass uses less energy, which also means lower CO2 emissions. The energy saved by reusing a piece of glass the size of a credit card is enough to power a 60-watt light bulb for 4 hours. The cleanest glass cullet are used for the manufacture of new sheet glass by the float glass industry. They use it to produce new sheet glass. Other manufacturers use this to make double glazing units for homes or offices, or glass for solar panels. Or it can be used in cars, or to create special design glass for works of art. Vlakglasrecycling Nederland endeavours to return at least 20% of waste sheet glass to the float glass industry. The remaining recycled glass is very much in demand among glass wool manufacturers, for example. Recycled glass currently makes up more than 75% of this insulating material. In addition to its excellent insulating properties, which translate into energy savings, mineral glass wool has a working life of around 50 years. Furthermore, glass wool waste can also be recycled into the raw materials for new glass wool or for insulating bricks. Finally, some of the processed waste sheet glass goes to the packaging industry. Thus, as much as 80% of new beer bottles now consists of old glass. Of course, this cullet can also be used to create many other products, such as jars, vases, bowls, or an inconceivable variety of bottles.
Ja? Wil jij een biertje? Ja, lekker.
It just goes to show, in no time at all, old shards can bring new happiness. And new shards? Yes, those too.
As you can see, flat glass is really everywhere, inside and outside the houses. And I will tell you more about how we have set up the collector and the recycling in the Netherlands. Now, our aim is to collect all the flat glass that has become waste and to have the colored recycled into raw material for the different glass industries, like I mentioned before. And we want to share our experience with other countries and other industries, and not by telling them what they should do, but only as an example. And in the end, we want to, that glass becomes real circular. The Dutch glass industry wanted to take their responsibility for the products when it has become waste. So they extended a system of extended producers' responsibility. And we started a project in 2000 with financial support from the government, and also our members, they paid a financial contribution. The pilot was very successful. And so in 2002, our organization was founded. Our type of organization is a foundation. So we're not a limited company, but a non-profit organization. Our aim is not to earn money, but to do our job, and as I said, to collect and recycle as much as flat glass waste as possible. And our board consists of the biggest glass producers in the Netherlands. And the chairman is from an independent glass company. We have 6 employees, and we have our offices in Zoetermeer. That's mainly in the center of the Netherlands. Now, the biggest issue when we started the system is how can we finance the collecting and the recycling of flat glass waste. Now, we are financed by a recycling fee. Companies, glass companies, and also window installers that produce double glazing, they have to pay 30 eurocents for every square meter of double glazing that they produce. And as our members represent 80% of the Dutch glass market, our government declared the recycling fee also binding for the producers that are not our member. So you can compare this with a kind of law. And we have extended this system, this way of financing, every 5 years. And we have about 300 producers and traders of glass that are paying the fee. You can imagine that we get a lot of market information, so we have to keep these figures confidential. That's the reason that the recycling fee is collected by an independent organization. And every year we have an accountant to perform random 10 tests at 10 companies to see if their declaration is done in the right way, so that they are not cheating what they have to pay. And until now, without big problems. And sometimes we got complaints from companies that they say, why do we have to pay? And then we can tell them what the advantage is when they pay to the system. Then they, in the end, they pay always. Now, as shown in the video, our network consists of different types of collection points. And the main type of collection point is the public collection point. We have about 450 locations where everybody can bring his flat glass waste for free. And you can find them at sheet glass processing companies, so mainly glass companies, but also container firms, almost every location who deals with a big number of flat glass. And companies that are not big enough or are not suitable to accept other companies because of safety or because of their size, they can get a container for their own use, but that's not for free. They have to pay a small monthly fee. They pay only for the container, not for the recycling. because that's paid by the recycling fee. And we also place containers at the renovation sites. We started to do that about 16 years ago, because otherwise glass companies, they had to transport a lot of glass to the collection points. And also for this service that we place a container at the renovation site, they pay a small monthly fee. And for the big container, they pay about €90 a month. But our system is not only meant for professionals, consumers also have a lot of glass waste. That's what you saw in the video. And therefore, we also have placed containers at municipal waste parks. And waste parks also pay a small fee, only for the container. And to give you an idea of our income, how much fee that we receive to have our system financed. In 2020, almost no more than 5.8 million square meters of double glazing was produced for the Dutch market. So our income was 1.7 million euro. In total, 250,000 tons of glass was put on the Dutch market, but that's not only the double glazing, but all types of glass. So also glass for picture frames, glass for greenhouses, glass for furniture, and so on. The total amount of glass waste last year was 110,000 tons. So that means that 140,000 tons of glass stays in the market, because every year new houses are built, and insulated glass has a lifetime of about 30 years. And in 2020, we collected 85,000 tons of flat glass waste. And the other 25,000 tons, we estimate that 10,000 tons of glass still got lost in the C&D waste, and the other 15,000, that is glass with a certain value, and that is directly sold to the recycling companies. The glass producers sell this color directly to the glass recycling companies. Now, what do we do with our recycled glass? As you can see, only 8% of the glass we collected was used for the production of new flat glass. And this is mainly due to the quality. As I said, we only, when we collect all types of glass together, it's not possible yet to make good quality for the flat glass industry. You see, the biggest part went to the packaging glass industry and insulating materials like glass wool. Now, these are our collection facilities. We use 3 types of containers: the big containers for the collection points and the renovation sites, small containers for municipal waste parks, and also inside the warehouses of the glass companies, and closed containers at renovation sites. And the container can be closed. That's because for the safety, and also to avoid other pollutions like household waste. So what should we do next to reach a higher circularity of flat glass? And we think that we should focus on C&D waste. This is an example how it should not be done. You can see a building that's torn down, glass and bricks, everything together. And when glass is mixed with stony material or other pollution, you cannot take the glass out afterwards. So this means that, in our opinion, the raw materials they are lost. Now, only if you separate glass at the source, you can recycle this glass. And as this costs money, we think that you need legal enforcement to create a level playing field. And with that, we mean that there are a lot of companies, they are willing to separate the glass and other material at the source. Therefore, they have higher costs. There are some companies who do not want to do that, so their costs are lower and they might have more jobs. That's the reason that in Holland there was 6 years ago a change in the Dutch building decree, and this decree stated that glass has to be collected separately at demolition sites. But like everything, when there is no law enforcement, a lot of glass waste is still mixed with C&D waste. And as we are a foundation, we are not a part of the government, so we are not involved in the enforcement or in the controlling if the waste is separated in the right way. Other steps, what we think that should be done, and that's what we already started last year. We saw that even if glass is separated at the source, we can still reach a better results. And certain types of flat glass waste has very low pollution, and we will investigate the quantities of this glass so that we can have this glass separately recycled from more polluted glass. And so you can think about only the collection of insulating glass, or only collection of mirrors. Then you create mono streams, and then you maybe can reach better recycling results so that the flat glass industry can use this cullet as a new raw material. And in every country, there is recycling of flat glass waste, but we can do more. We think that if other countries establish EPR for flat glass waste or other types of waste, that both the quantity and the quality will improve, so that in the end, more flat glass cullet can be used for the production of new flat glass. Thank you for your attention.